Have you ever felt busy but not productive? Have you ever found yourself feeling busy but at the end of the day wondering what you actually accomplished? You're not alone. In fact, many people struggle to balance their workload, leading to a sense of frustration and unfulfillment. And productivity is not about doing more tasks and getting more done. It's about focusing on the right action steps, on the high value activities that align with your goals. Welcome back to the Slay Your Day podcast. My name is Sandy Glant. I'm a high performance productivity coach, wife, mother, author, YouTuber, and today we are diving into uncommon ways to be productive, not just busy, but to help you boost your productivity levels. Let's dive in. So I want to talk about a common misconception before we dive into these tips. And that is with confusing being productive and doing a whole bunch of things in the day instead of doing things that are going to move the needle forward. And the thing is that you can be busy, but simply just being stuck in a cycle of activity, whether it's just doing things to get them done or to check a box, it's not going to give you any clear direction on what actually moves the ball forward. So on the other hand, when we're productive, it means that we're focusing on high leverage activities that drive real results. And I don't know about you, but I want real results in my home life, in my personal life, in my business life. So we need to be focusing on what exactly those needle moving activities are. And it really just boils down to being a symptom of poor time management, maybe a lack of focus and sometimes a fear of saying no. So I have some great tips for you today that we're going to dive into that are really going to tackle straight on exactly how we can step out of being busy and into being productive. Before we dive into these tips, make sure you subscribe to the channel. What I'm going to be doing is giving away free one-on-one coaching calls each week. I'm going to be inviting you into the High Performance Accelerator Academy and even sending you a copy of my book. But the only way to win is to make sure that you're subscribed to the channel. And when you do, comment below and let me know that you've subscribed. So each week we'll be picking 3 winners to win a one-on-one call with me, my Slay Your Day book, or an invite into the High Performance Accelerator Academy so you can check it out. You can meet the other women and you can step into the best, most productive version of yourself. So make sure to subscribe below and also send this to someone else. Send this to a friend. Maybe it's another high performance mama that can use these productivity tips. Okay, so the tips that I have for you today, they are somewhat uncommon. They're uncommon ways to be productive. Some you might have heard of before, others you might want to implement so you can really step into that productivity and start seeing real results. So first tip that I have for you is called the 80-20 rule. And you might have heard of this before, but this is identifying those key activities that focus on 20% of the tasks that produce 80% of your results. What are those for you? So you're going to eliminate or delegate the less impactful 80% of those activities. Now, you might be saying like, Sandy, I don't even know where to start with this. Well, you're in luck. I have a free download for you that is called Big Money Moves. So if you go to www.sandraglant.com/big money, I'm going to walk you through an entire training that's going to help you identify your big money moves. So again, keep in mind that 80-20 principle, that 80-20 rule, it's also known as the Pareto principle, and it's going to allow you to focus on 20%. Imagine only focusing on 20% of the activities that produce 80% of your results. It's a game changer. I don't know why more people don't focus on this. What you could also do is break this down into home, personal, and professional. And that way, now you're only doing 20% of the activities that move the ball forward personally, professionally, and then also for you in the things that you want to do. So I would highly, highly recommend that you really tap into this. Download that training, sandraglant.com/big money, and figure out what those really big needle moving activities are for you. The next tip that I have for you that's a little unconventional is practice intentional downtime. Now, as a high performer, I think we tend to think that high performers are constantly go, 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 and there's never any downtime. One of the things that I think for me, especially being a mom, that has been very, very helpful, and also not just helpful for me professionally, but also personally for me as well, and as a wife and as a mother, is having mindful breaks and engaging in things like meditation, journaling, working out. You guys know I love to work out. And this is just a really good reset and focus on your time and also your energy. So maybe for you, it's a 5 minute in between calls, in between emails, just to kind of break up the day and the time. But if you can give yourself these mindful breaks, go for a walk. And look, I'm not talking about a lunch break here. I'm talking about intentional mindful breaks that help to break up your activities so that when you get back into whatever that work is that you're doing, hopefully it's the 20% work that we just talked about, it's really going to help you to refocus your energy and your time. Okay, the third tip that I want to share with you that is going to boost your productivity and maybe something that you haven't considered before is batching similar tasks. Now, when I first started my business, I wasn't doing this. I kind of was running in all different directions. I was doing coaching calls and emails and content creation. Like I was doing a lot of different things in one day. So what I would recommend doing is batching similar tasks, whether it's day to day or maybe it's like your mornings and your afternoons. And when you tap into task batching, what you're going to do is group similar tasks together to minimize context switching and increase your efficiency. So this is really helpful so you can stay in that zone of genius. So for example, let's say you dedicate specific time for emails, meetings, content creation, your creative work. You really want to make sure that you're not switching back and forth, because if you're taking meetings and then you're doing creative work, it's really going to feel like you got to the end of your day and you were exhausted and you're not quite sure exactly what you accomplished. So if you can batch this into days, if days isn't possible, batch this into either morning, afternoon, or even hours so you can have that intentional focused time and batch the work to minimize that context switching and really increase your efficiency. Okay, this next tip I absolutely love. And this one I know that all of the working moms are going to love, because how many times in a day do we feel like we have these little micro moments where we could be getting things done, but we're just not intentional about this time? So the next tip that I have for you is to embrace micro productivity. Okay, let me explain because I know you're going to love this. So micro productivity is small task completion. So for example, tackling small, quick tasks immediately. Like for example, if you were to open up your inbox and you know that you have an email that you can respond to in less than 5 minutes. Okay. Let's say maybe it's also ordering something online, like a quick Amazon order. These are quick tasks immediately that you implement, that you get done, that you can check off your list to avoid build up, to avoid having to have these little micro tasks that you have to do that pile up. And then you get to the end of the day or the end of the week and you have 50 of these things that you have to do. These are just small little 5, 2, 3, 5, maybe even 10. I would say 10 is probably the max. Little small task completion areas that you can focus on, and you're using micro moments. So you're using these micro moments like waiting in line and ordering something on your phone. Maybe you're waiting in line at the grocery store and you know that you can order the kids back to school supplies on your phone. This is helping you to complete minor tasks or brainstorm ideas and giving you those creative moments. So embrace the micro productivity. You probably are having all of these like micro productivity moments throughout your day that you don't even realize that now that you can really tap into. Sometimes I find if I'm running early to an event, I can check emails, I can order something online, I can place a grocery order. You guys know I'm a big fan of my Instacart and all the really anything that can be delivered to my home where I don't have to go and pick things up, my dry cleaning, my groceries, anything from Amazon. These are all those micro productivity moments. So what are they for you? Identify them. And the next time one of those micro small tasks comes up, make sure that you tackle them, you complete them, and don't let them pile up. Okay, so before we go on to tip 5, I would love for you to comment below and let me know which tip so far is your favorite. All of these tips are going to be massive game changers in helping you become more productive and step away from just the busy hustle mentality. So let me know which one so far you're going to implement. Comment below. Let me know 1, 2, 3, or 4. Comment below and let me know. Okay, we are breezing right through these tips. So, tip number 5 is going to be a weekly reflection. And you've heard me talk about this one before in quite a number of other videos that I have. But this is where you're going to just regularly reflect, maybe at the end of the week, maybe at the beginning of the week, on what worked and what didn't work in the past week. So, if you do this, let's say on a Friday or at the end of the week, you're going to do it for that week that you just completed. If you're doing this on a Monday, you're going to do it from the week before. So what this is going to help you do is adjust your strategies based on what's actually working, based on the stats, based on the insights that are going to help you to continuously improve your productivity. Now, there's times when we say, oh, I think that thing went well, or you ask your team members for feedback. This reflection is really going to help in the moment, in real time, whether that's again from the week or the day or the week prior. So you know what you're focusing on. You know the new strategy going into that new week, what worked well, what didn't work well, what you can improve. And a lot of people do this like at the end of the year. You know, they'll do this like yearly reflection or like a yearly review process. When you do this every single week, you will have massive productivity because you're doing it in real time. You're doing it when you know exactly what just happened from the week of or the week prior, and you can make that reflection, you can make that adjustment, and then move forward into the next week. So weekly reflection, massive game changer. And it's something that you should start implementing into your weekly routines, as well as your home, your teams, and your family to see some massive productivity shifts. All right, ladies, this next one, not only do I love this, but I feel like this one was a big game changer for me when I was a new mom, when I had my newborn babies. And this was leveraging my biological prime time. So all this is to really just say is working with your energy levels. Now, this has shifted for me in the different seasons of my life. So when my babies were newborns, you know, you're not sleeping through the night. You have little pockets here and there between breastfeeding and changing and feeding and all the things. So like, again, this changes in the different seasons. But what I would say is this is really identifying the times of the day when you are naturally most alert and focused. And the reason why I like this one, especially for my mompreneurs, especially for my women in business, is that our cycles change throughout the course of the month, your energy levels, how much sleep you're getting. And like I mentioned, this also changes in the different seasons that you're in. When my babies were little, it was really just like living on a prayer at that point. It was like, I really just had to focus on, I mean, I had my book launch, I was doing my coaching, I had my group coaching, my one-on-ones, and then all the things with the family and the babies. And like, it was just a season at that point. Now, this time in my life, in this point in this season in my life, it's changing again because we're in the summer schedule. You guys saw the video that I did a couple weeks ago that was talking about when things don't go according to plan, how do we navigate that? Well, this season of my life looks like summer schedules, not as much predictability, and being able to work in the pockets and trying to figure out and navigate what those pockets are. So Scheduling your most important and demanding tasks during those peak periods is going to allow you to work to the best efficiency possible. And when you can figure out or you can try and troubleshoot what that looks like, you're going to be working when your energy levels are most alert and most focused. So I love this one for my ladies, depending on what season you're in, depending on how old your kids are or how young, or maybe they're in college or maybe they're out of school for summer. Again, it's it's always changing and it's always evolving, and it's a matter of how we handle these changes, right? How we handle these changes as entrepreneurs and business owners and moms and wives. So to me, this one is really important to know where those peak periods of time are so you can really maximize that productivity. Tip number 7. This one is going to be a game changer if you haven't implemented it already. And that is adapting a digital minimalism approach. So that means limiting your digital noise while you're working. The pings, the dings, the emails, the notifications, the calls, really just reducing that digital footprint and decluttering your devices. Maybe it's removing Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, I don't know, whatever it is that you use, and taking more of a minimalism approach when it comes to your app usage, unsubscribing from unnecessary notifications and emails. I tend to do this like 2 to 3 times a year when I'll go through my inbox, or I'll have my assistant go through my inbox and I just tell her, or I'll go through and I'll just unsubscribe. I go on like an unsubscribe tangent. Like I will just unsubscribe from all the things that I'm no longer interested in, no longer serve me. And I keep the things that I really want to focus on. So when I'm opening up emails, I know that those are the things that I'm going to need my attention on and that are the most important to me. And then the other thing I want to share with you, which I don't know if I've shared this on the podcast yet, is I am going through this. I don't know if you want to call it a digital detox, but it's almost like a noise detox. So I've told my husband this. I told my 75 hard group this. I told my fitness coach and my accountability partner, Natalie, this. I am cutting out all the distractions and all the noises. And I'm doing this very intentionally for 30 days. So no trash TV. Like I like to watch every once in a while my housewives shows. I've cut that out. Any like mindless scrolling, I've cut that out. I'm either like creating and on there for a reason to create and, produce something, or I'm just not on there. What I've found is I'm reading so much more. I'm connecting with people more. I'm showing up more for my kids. I'm doing more with the kids in terms of like reading and arts and crafts. Like if you guys are watching me on social media, you're seeing this in real time. I didn't make this like an official announcement, but it's something that I did to those that are closest to me. So here at the Slayer Day podcast, you're part of my tribe. I'm sharing this with you. It was a big deal for me to cut these things out because I saw how much time it was taking from me. I saw how much time I was consuming just scrolling or like watching shows that didn't support my growth and where I was going. It was like women fighting with their friends, fighting with their spouses, like things that I'm like, I would in real life, I would want no part of this. So I think that it's really important that like the things that don't serve you, you have to identify to get them out of your life, to remove them out of your life. Because while I was making time for that, I wasn't spending as much time. I'm journaling now. Like I haven't journaled, like really, really journaled in a long time. I was doing a little 5-minute journaling. But now I'm really doing some like heavy journaling work. Like I said, I'm reading more and I've always loved reading. I'm doing more work with the kids and it's kind of like a homeschooling thing. Over the summer, homeschooling over the summer. So I think that again, it's just important that you take out the distractions where you see fit, but it's really a checks and balances system with yourself because nobody else is really going to hold you accountable unless you ask them for that accountability. It's really like how is this serving me? Do I need this in my life? Is it supporting me? And am I going to keep it or am I going to get rid of it? And I really, really love that I've been doing this because I found that I have way more time now for the things that are serving me and the direction that I'm going in, and not just the noise, the things that just like weren't pouring positive energy into my life. So Adopt this digital minimalism approach and do this digital detox if you have to, because this is really going to support that next level of your productivity. Okay, before we go on, one last time, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I see you out there and I know you're watching these videos. And if you haven't been subscribed yet to the channel, I promise you I will make it worth your while. We're going to be giving away Slayer Day books, one-on-one calls with me, calls into the High Performance Accelerator Academy. So come in, join the club, join the productivity mindset. Come in and really make sure that you're tapping into this, because it isn't just the podcast. There's so much more. We have the academy, we have one-on-one coaching, we have the book. There's so many tools and resources. It doesn't stop here. So I would love for you to subscribe, because you'll be the first person to be alerted when these videos go live every single week. Sometimes there's other content that I put out there and you will know about it first. You'll know about the deals and the specials and the updates. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Click the button now. Tip number 8 that I have for you is, and I love this one, by the way, is implement a not to-do list. So many of us keep running to-do lists, and it just like, I feel like it's a cog in the wheel. I feel like it's the thing that always stops people from feeling like they're unproductive, from feeling like they're unaccomplished, from not feeling like they're worthy or deserving of downtime, of rest, of recharging. So I want you to very intentionally implement a not to-do list. Identify unproductive habits. So create a list of activities and behaviors to avoid, such as unnecessary meetings, like we just talked about, scrolling, excess social media, perfectionism. Keep your focus on what truly matters, because when you're so focused on all the things that you have to do, you don't realize the things that are not serving you. So the not to do list: I'm not going to scroll social media mindlessly. I'm not going to watch trash TV. I'm not going to set up meetings with my team that could be emails. Like all of these things that I think that go unrecognized. It's really important that you have this not to-do list. What are the things that you're not going to do, so you can focus on the things that are productive, that are going to move you forward? So implement this not to-do list and watch how your productivity skyrockets. Okay. So this next tip goes hand in hand with what we're talking about in terms of the not to-do list and focusing on limiting the digital noise and the distractions. And that is practicing strategic inactivity. Now, what I want to mention here is this is pausing for perspective. This is just not stopping and, doing it in a way that's not going to help you move and grow forward. This is taking a pause before you jump into an action and taking a moment to strategically pause and assess where you're going. What's the best approach, rather than being reactive and immediately trying to, let's say, take something on or make a move that's going to potentially take you backwards, right? That's going to have some inefficiencies to it. So pause intentionally, pause strategically, and figure out what is that next course of action. A lot of times throughout the day, we just go, go, go. And there's not a time to pause. There's not time for reflection. It's just a habit to go from one thing to the next to the next. So I challenge you, this is going to be a challenge. I challenge you to practice this strategic inactivity and pause for perspective. Maybe it's pausing before you send out an email. Maybe it's pausing before you go from your desk into being with the kids, or before your spouse comes home. This is one that I have talked about before in probably a few months back, in some of the episodes, about having this shift before my husband comes home, of a reset, so I can go from my alpha into my feminine energy, before he comes home. For me, I've always been a very alpha energy. I've been like a very go, go, go and be productive. But like when my husband comes home, I want to be in that receiving energy. I want to be able to have him come home. Like just recently, I've had him like I don't know, in the past week, I've had him come home and dinner's ready and there's like some cookies or like some healthy brownies that are in the oven. And it's just very welcoming. And I found, and I'm going to get like a little personal with you guys, I found that like when I tap into this, I am more receiving. I'm more soft. I'm more just like ready to be in that feminine energy. And it's so nice to like let that heavy alpha energy go. So when he comes home, like he can be that, like he can lead. He can be the one that's like, taking on that role for our family and I don't have to. So it's nice to be able to be the leader, the alpha in my business. And you know what? I'll probably do another episode like just on this because this is very much like, I think when it comes down to like running a business and a home and a family and being the wife, like these are all things that are really important to have a home that's structured for both the ebb and the flow and the alpha and the feminine side of things. So I think that this is really important to talk about. But for now, what I'll say is pause for perspective, know where those areas are that you kind of want to be more fluid and flexible, because especially as entrepreneurs and as women that are in business, we are in our alpha so much. We're in this very like get things done and be productive. I mean, that's what we're talking about here on this episode. So when you can pause in between these moments, it's going to be really helpful to build whatever is coming next. So I challenge you, this is going to be a challenge for some of you because it was for me. Practice strategic inactivity and give yourself that pause for perspective. All right, as we wrap up this episode, my final tip for you is to cultivate a growth mindset. Everything I do, whether it's with my kids or my spouse or my business or my husband or my friends, like I'm cultivating a growth mindset. I'm focusing on where is the growth. So, what comes with that? Embracing challenges, right? Growth comes from challenges. Growth comes from navigating through the hardships. So I want you to look at, and again, I do this, I try and teach my kids this, I live this every single day, and it's viewing challenges and setbacks as opportunities and opportunities for growth, for learning, rather than obstacles. And I think that, again, it's so important as entrepreneurs, as leaders, as business owners, as mothers, as wives, that we use this mindset so we can increase resilience, so we can be focused on long-term productivity, so we can focus on the things that are working, so we can be focusing on the things that are in our favor and not looking at what didn't go well or as we had plans, but what's the lesson here? Like yes, there's a challenge, it might feel like a setback, but what's the opportunity? Because from opportunity is going to come growth. And if you think like this, if you are in that place or you want to think like this, I welcome you. And I welcome you with open arms. Our community is going to welcome you with open arms into the High Performance Accelerator Academy, because the women here are literally thinking with this mindset all day long. They are bringing this mindset all day long. They know that there's going to be challenges. They know that there's opportunities for growth, but it only comes when you're looking at those challenges and setbacks as opportunities. So if you either think like this already or you want to think like this, I highly, highly encourage you to check out the High Performance Academy. So you can go to sandraglantz.com/HPAA special. You can come in and join us. Ladies, I can promise you this. The women that are in this academy are next level, not just high achievers, but women who want to have it all. They want to have it all in business. They want to have it all in their relationships. They want to have it all in their self-care and their growth. This is what the academy was built for. So if you are looking for this, if you are looking for that next level of growth, relationships, opportunity, the High Performance Academy is for you. So come join us, sandraglant.com/ HPAA special. I cannot wait to see you inside. And I hope this call today, I hope this video today really helps you just step back and realize that, trying to multitask and trying to get a million things done is not the way to go, right? It's a very ineffective way to build a business, to feel like you're getting things done day to day. The myth of multitasking is when we feel like we're just doing a million things and then we just get nothing done and you feel like you haven't accomplished anything. Research shows that multitasking can actually decrease, right? It's not working for us. It decreases our productivity up to 40%. These 10 tips that I shared with you today are going to give you a strategy. They're going to give you a way to tap into focusing on how to actually get things done, be more productive in a way that feels fun. And I don't want to say easy, but it's definitely going to flow for you. It's going to feel like things are working in your favor. So step out of the hustle mindset, step out of the hustle mentality, and let's focus on the productivity tips that are going to actually work for you. Make sure to comment below. Let me know if you are not only going to implement this, but which one are you going to implement? And as always, make sure to share with a friend because we are in this together. I hope you go out and slay your day.